All right. Good. Whoo. Scooch back up. Good morning, fire breathers. Happy Thursday. Feels like a Friday here. It's a 4-day weekend. Kiddo doesn't have school tomorrow or Monday, and he gets up early today, so it feels like a Friday. But it's not. It's Thursday. So happy Friday Eve. And we're going to dive into home. 2019-05, 23 body weight home. You've got rounds for time. Get through this as quickly as possible. Today is one of the days where you need equipment. So you've got double unders in the workout. So if you can do double unders, if you know how to do them, that's getting that rope underneath your feet twice for every jump in the air. Then you're doing that RX. Your next option, so say you don't have a jump rope or you can't get outside, you don't have a space to do double unders, you can do penguin flaps, which is one jump, 2 hits of your thigh each time you're in the air. So they look like this. All right, so you could sub those in as well and still have that count as RX, because penguin flaps are just about as exhausting as the double unders for our intent and purpose here. If you cannot do that, so you can't do the rebounding for the double under penguin flaps, you can just imaginary jump rope and you do 2 times the amount of those. So 70 of those. If you're unable to jump, you can march in place for 150. All right, but scale that to your level, whatever you need. Then you have glute bridges. So you're gonna get your heart rate up, then you're gonna lay down on the ground. RX for these is just on the ground. So feet as close to your butt as you can get them underneath your knees. Your hands can go down by your side, and then you're going to lift, squeeze, 1, 2, 3. You don't need to hold and pause up here, but do make sure you're squeezing your glutes and getting those hips up as high as you can get them, okay? So we're not doing this little range of motion if you have the work capacity, my least favorite term, but the work capacity to get all the way up here. Make them good reps, use those glutes. If you want to RX plus that, you can do single leg glute bridges, okay? So you can lift 1 foot up in the air, do half the number here, switch, do half the number here. Or you can put your feet up on a stability ball and hold that balance as you keep your hips lifted, and then do roll-ins. So like hamstring curls, but those are so much more difficult. So that's definitely an RX plus option. You can also add a weight of some sort. So if you have a dumbbell, a plate, a kettlebell, a child, a cat, or a dog that you want to sit on your hips and do those weighted, you can certainly do that as well. Where am I at? V-ups. So back down on the ground. You're gonna start at full extension, and then ideally you're bending at your hips and meeting your toes and your hands halfway. I'm kind of tight right now, so let's see if I can perform this. So we're here. Like that was bad, I kind of fell forward, but 1, back there, 2, 3, and so on and so forth. RX plus for those, if you have a med ball, you can do like the big giant one, again, the stability bouncing ball one. You can hold it between your feet, switch it over to your hands, hold it in your hands as you go back down to the ground, switch it over to your feet, and go back and forth. Again, those are a lot harder than they seem, and you'll work your inner legs as you do those. And then end pubs. No push-up burpees. So what that means is you are jumping, and I'm going to go ahead and move this up actually, because you guys don't need to see my feet anymore. So for this, you're going to hands to the floor, jump your feet back so that you end up in a high plank, jump your feet forward, and then jump up. So they look like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm still looking for full extension up top, and you are doing a little bit of a hop. So get those arms up, look forward. At the top of our burpee, we're not here. We're here, full extension, jump. All right, so home, that's you guys. Have fun. Gym track, your turn. Do your warm up. Today is sort of a get your mind right, because you've got 2 things to get through, essentially unbroken. Yeah. So get those shoulders warm, and then you got your shoulder burner. We did this 2 weeks ago. If you've been following along since then, if you're new, don't worry about it. It'll be your first time doing it. As the notes say, start lighter than you think you need to. PVC, training bar, empty barbell, plenty for this, okay? Your shoulders will burn, and yours truly actually had their lats burning on this one. So warm up, stay warm, get your mind right. Your goal and your RX score for this is getting through all 5 rounds unbroken. So you could take sort of a little bit of a rest in your front rack position, but again, you don't want to wait too long because it's just gonna tire your shoulders out more holding that front rack when you can be getting through reps. What are your movements? Strict press, push, jerk. Make sure I'm not gonna hit anything. Okay, so you can come from the rig if you need to. You've got your strict presses. Woo. You've got a push press. And then you have push jerks. Okay, they can absolutely flow into each other. Keep your count going, right? So don't lose count of where you're at. So if you need to, they can look like this. This isn't the rep scheme, but just make sure you're standing up all the way as you finish each rep. If you get through all your 5 rounds unbroken, you'll put your score as RX, put the weight that you did it at, and then any notes that you want to leave for me or for yourself, go ahead and do so. If at any point you are unable to complete the 5 rounds unbroken and you need to re-rack it, shake it off, then when you feel ready to go, finish out the sets. Your score will then be scaled, and then your put scaled, the weight that you did, and then leave in the notes how many rounds, how many reps did you make it through before you had to re-rack it. And then what'll happen is the next time the shoulder burner comes up, you'll do this weight again, and we'll see if you've gotten stronger / worked on your mental game to get through it, depending on why we failed, okay? So, shoulder burner. Then, once you've sort of recovered from that and you get some feeling back in your arms, you've got a little chipper of a Metcon with heavy weights. So, first thing off the bat, your single arm dumbbell hang clean and jerks at a heavy dumbbell weight. So, you will, I'll demonstrate. Clean deadlift, your dumbbell up. And then your dumbbell hang clean and jerks. Mini kettlebell swing up to your shoulder, dip drive, and stand up all the way. Now, you can split these reps however you want. So if you want to do 5 on one arm, switch, 5 on the other arm. Again, just don't lose track of where you're at. By the end of the reps, the work needs to be done evenly between your 2 shoulders. Doesn't matter how you get there though, that is up to you. You're following those with GHD sit-ups. And then thrusters. heavy thrusters. So you can squat clean thruster your first one if you would like, or power clean. There's weird noises, sorry. Okay, so from the ground, make sure your barbell's loaded accordingly. Clean, get that up to your shoulders, doesn't count as a rep. Hips below your knees, push press that bar up overhead, full extension. Remember, here doesn't count. You don't need to go all the way back here. Just bring your arms in line with your ears, open up all the way down, all the way up. Then you've got dumbbell snatches. It is at the same weight that you did the clean and jerks at, from the floor, up, 1. These are switching, so alternate. And then you're ending on heavy clusters. For these, note that it is heavier than the thrusters that you just did, and it does need to come from the ground, and you do need to squat clean it. So your reps will look like this. 1, 2, 3, and so on and so forth. So enjoy your Metcon. You are following that up with something I'm calling Gymnasty 2. And again, our aim is to get through each round unbroken. For this, unbroken means not coming off the rig. So in a perfect world, what you're aiming to do by your last round is getting through this while maintaining your rhythm between all your movements. So figuring out how to string together from your toes to bar to your chest to bar immediately into a bar muscle up and then back down. Play with it. Now, if you need to, so you're still hanging onto the rig, but kind of coming to a dead stop after your chest to bar and then going up into a bar muscle up, but you can get through all the reps without coming off of the rig, that absolutely counts as unbroken. Your score for this is how many reps were you able to get through unbroken across the 5 rounds. So you have a little bit of math to do, but again, that's going to help determine in the future, how did we make progress? All right, now, these are high skill movements, right? High skill gymnastics movements. What if I don't have all of those? What if I don't have them at the volume that they're at? One, if you need to ask me what is best for you, let me know. I can give that to you. Your other option is just to go ahead and scale the movements down. So you can either take some reps off or change up the movements. So let's say you don't have bar muscle ups, but you do have toes to bar, you do have pull-ups, you do have chest to bars. You can change this for you to look like toes to bar, pull up, chest to bar, pull up, toes to bar, and keep the rep scheme as is written. Your score would be scaled, but then you can note your reps, note what you changed, and then we'll work on improving that for next time. You can also say you can do the bar muscle up, but you're struggling with like the tempo and it's a lot on your grip. Although we want to be working on that, you can change it down to 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, just to get through it and build from there. So any of those things work. The idea is that we're challenging our level of CrossFit gymnastics and pushing our pace, body awareness, and all that. So do not tear. You do have Murph coming up on Monday where you're gonna need your hands. So be smart, chalk, tape, grips, whatever you gotta do, keep those hands protected. If you need to end up scaling it by doing 3 rounds rather than 5, that's also perfectly okay. Scale it that way. Reduce the volume. Your cool down row is for distance. Don't sprint it. You're not trying to throw up here, which is perfectly possible to have happen on a row. don't do that, but push your pace. You're moving through, you're cooling down, but still giving yourself something to log. And then a shoulder cool down for you, since you did do a lot of heavy shoulder stuff today. Oh no, I'm gonna have to break a rule and leave the frame because I'm gonna show you guys some stuff with the bands. That band's too thick. Oh no, sorry, hang on. Okay, my apologies, fam. I thought I had a little band over in this next room and they're all the way in the back. So you've got banded pull aparts. If you are training at a facility that has access to a crossover symmetry, use that. Otherwise, a band works just as well. Banded pull aparts, a little bit of tension, shoulder blades back and down, core tight, don't hyperextend and pop those hips. And then all you're doing, keeping those traps down, squeezing your shoulder blades together and back, okay? So you're sort of stretching your chest while you're working, cooling down, strengthening up those shoulder blades and rotator cuffs. Banded bully. While I'm here, I'm gonna go ahead and show you. So you're gonna loop your band up overhead. It's probably not gonna be a good angle actually, but you're going to, so face the rig where you have your band, put your hand in, right? Then you're going to twist yourself forward, flip your wrist up and grab the band. And then bending that elbow down. So the band is now behind you like this. And then depending on how tight your shoulder is, what kind of band you're using, and so how much you're feeling it, you may need to come down into a lunge and stretch that shoulder out. Do not do more than 5 minutes. You're not gonna want to. Start with 2. Eventually you can work your way up to 3 or 4, no more than 5. Stretch out that shoulder very slowly and carefully. Come out of it. Okay, don't go too quickly out of this. After you've got your banded bully, you've got banded pass-throughs and banded around the worlds. So the reason I want you to use a band specifically rather than a PVC is so that you can kind of manipulate your shoulder joints a little bit more and better as you do it. So banded pass-through, grab that band that you've been using up overhead. And again, with the band, you can pull on it to make the stretch more intense. And then for your around the worlds, same deal. You can pull and stretch, manipulate those shoulders as you go around the world, stretch into what you need to. And then ending on thread the needle. I did those earlier in the week for the home track. So if you want to go back and find that pose to stretch out your mid-back in between your shoulder blades. And that is everything. So thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Continue to follow along. I appreciate the support. And yeah, Dracarys.